audio quality in this video would be pretty bad. It was pretty rushed. I didn't have enough time to make a full video. I went out and decided to play soccer instead. Um, so yeah, sorry for the quality, audio quality specifically. I really need.
Allez l'Algérie, c'est qu'un billet pour le monde entier. On a rêvé, on l'a écrit sur le verre, sur le cœur aligné. Allez, allez l'Algérie, le visage jusqu'au bout du ciel. Un cri, un...
9 hours ago, Fabrizio Romano posted on Twitter the national squad for Algeria. And of course, I asked over on Twitter and Instagram if people want to hear my opinions on it. I got some responses. Overwhelmingly, people said yes. And so I just want to make some quick notes, It's a good list, solid list overall. We have our best goalkeeper going, Lucas Zidane, even though he is in contention due to that head injury. I'm just looking back at the list right now. I have the list out in front of me. It's good seeing Osama bin Bout back, Big guy in goal. He understands how it works. He's recently just come back from winning the Confederations Cup with USMA, Ittihad Al-Jazair. And I believe he also won the Algerian Cup this year. Yeah, so that makes it the double for him. We got Melvin Mastil and Abdul Latif Ramadan. Abdul Latif Ramadan, in terms of being the fourth keeper, he's going to be the +1. In other words, if any of these three keepers get injured, Ramadan will take his place. Of course, Ramadan coming back after winning a double, the domestic double this time with MC Alger, being the Algerian League and the Super Cup. More on that later. We go to our defenders, where we saw the usual suspect in this case, which was Ben Ghali, Shirgi, Raini Etnouri, Hajjam, Isa Mendi, Ben Sib'ini, Zindin Bil'eid, Ashraf Abada. Now, personally, I'm just looking at this, and I got a problem with the last defender, I can't lie. I feel like we wasted a spot here. The final defender in this case was Mohamed Amin Tougai. Now, I get it. He's coming back. He's coming off a season with Taraji Tunis, Esperance Tunis. But I feel like, in general, we could have brought up a better player. And we could have brought up someone else. But more on that later. For midfields, we got Ben Talib, Hisham Boudawi, Faris Shaibi, Hussam Awar, Maza, and Titrawi with the side of Zarruqi. Midfield I have a lot of problems with now that I'm looking at it, but that's something we'll go over later. And forwards, finally, we got Mohamed Amin Amoura, we got Ben Boali, new addition to this World Cup, who takes place of Baghdad Bounajah, Adil Bulbina, Khijimes, I really don't know how to pronounce his name. If you guys know how to pronounce it, mention it in the comments. We got Amin Ghouiri, Anis Haj Musa, and of course, Captain Riyad Mahrez. And we couldn't go to the World Cup without him. Let's be realistic here. A lot of key names, though, missing from this list, final list. We got who? Off the top of my head, I can name you Yusuf Bilaili, which, that whole situation, in which I really don't understand if he's still banned. Did he get the appeal in? I really don't understand that. We also got Baghdad Bounajah, where Petkovic claimed it's because of disciplinary issues. This will be the first of many editing notes. One of them would be about Petkovic on Baghdad Bounajah, because he didn't call him up. Petkovic would say that Baghdad Bounajah is a very good player. He's given a lot to the national team in his career, but we have to look at the day of the match, or in other words, we have to look forward. It's not against him, it's for the players who are on this list. And this was reported by JDZ Football over on X. And I saw a lot of crazy shots on X these past couple of days. One of them coming from Kural Kuwait, at Kuwait_PLG, who mentioned about Victor Likhal wanting to be on the list for the World Cup. Which, compared to the players that we have right now, is not at all a great shout. And, I don't know. Personally, in my opinion, I would have loved to see Baghdad Bounajah play. That's just a whole other debate, honestly, because I've seen people all over Twitter and X, Insta, wherever you see them always in support of Baghdad Bounajah and Bilaili. Because it's the final World Cup, their final dance. And honestly, emotion wise, I agree. I want to see Baghdad Bunjah at the World Cup. You know, just seeing him do some crazy thing and then just go to the corner and celebrate by dancing or something. Him with Salah Bilali, that would have been amazing. Just like the same vibes they brought in that 2021 AFCON. But yeah, disciplinary issues from 2025 AFCON. And it really stems back to that one clip. I'll try linking it here. Of Baghdad Bunajah not agreeing with, I guess, the game as it ended, as it winded down. I really don't remember which game. I think it might have been Equatorial Guinea or Sudan. But he basically just walks off annoyed. So that's one of the main issues, in my opinion. That was the moment where I saw, yeah, there's going to be traction, there's going to be an issue between him and Petkovic. So if we go to midfielders now, um, I really just want to like point out a couple of names, in my opinion. In midfield, technically, you could have played Bashir Belumi, the player for Hull City who just got his team promoted. And yeah, I feel like, especially when it comes to profile Bashir Belumi, he's more of a winger, I get it, so he should have been with forwards. But I feel like he could also play in that final third as a cam, you know? He likes finding the space, he cuts in, he dribbles a lot. That's what you want to see from a number 10, a chance creator. And of course, you already know. Anybody who's followed me on Instagram, anybody who's followed me on Twitter, anyone who knows me personally, they understand my issue with Zarouki, you know? You know, I love Zarouki personally, especially over the fact that he chose Algeria firsthand. But for me, his heart, he loves Algeria. His feet don't. I'm just gonna let it out. His heart loves Algeria, his feet don't. He especially loves making back passes, which hurt our team so much when it comes to the final third and attacking. Or even, not even final third. Let's think about like the defensive third. How many times against let me bring up 2021, 2023 AFCON. 2023 AFCON, I could bring up the mistake against Mauritania. That's a famous clip of him just making that awful back pass. And for me personally, Ramiz Zarouki, he's a good player. Honestly, his heart is there. He just needs to learn how to put more effort in the back passes and finding passes forward. A noticeable name missing here being Ismail bin Nasser. And honestly, it hurts for a bit because you know Ismail bin Nasser from a young age chose Algeria when he was 18. So like this is back in 2019. He chose Algeria first. And still doesn't get the call up because he's a very good player. Now, what do I mean by he's a very good player? To put it simply, he's going to start. Like, regardless of what happens, if he went to the World Cup, he was always going to start. The issue is, you play him, let's say, 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes. We saw this in the AFCON. He gets a knock. He gets injured. He's very injury prone. That's my issue with it as well. Like, I love Ben Nasser. I believe he should have been in this list. But let's be realistic. If he gets injured, then we are not going to see Ben Nasser and we're going to see a wasted space. And of course, we always have this debate with Awar. Because we saw him as an opportunistic, where in like around 2021, 2022, he decided to join Algeria last minute. And we saw this mainly towards the end of his time at Lyon before he went to Saudi League. And that's a whole other subject, talking about opportunistics and whatnot. But let's just be happy that we got a midfield, you know? Because if you remember back in 2022, 2023, we were still struggling in that midfield. Hell, I remember shouts of bringing back Adlan Gidiora, which was insane at the time because the guy was practically on the verge of retirement. And of course, I talked about this before with Turgai. I feel like it's a wasted spot in defense. We could have, like, if you're willing to bring on an extra defender, because I know Pitko, he's going to probably try playing like 5 in the back. Either a 3-5-2 against Argentina or a 5-2-3. I feel like for Turgai, You're just calling him up just because you can. We could have bought that spot to bring in any player. If you want to look at defenders, alright, let's look in the Algerian League. I'm sorry, I'm going to bring that up. Algerian League. We got Ayoub Abdellaoui coming off a great season with MC Alger. Disciplinary issues, alright, we won't call him up. You got Abdelkader Menzla, Mouloudia. He's still good. You got a lot of players in the Algerian League you could take to the World Cup. And yes, they may not have the experience, but like at this point, they have very similar experience with Turgai in a World Cup. They have practically nothing. And of course, last one is Melvin Mastir for goalkeeping. Alright, I personally don't like him because, like, he decided last minute, oh yeah, I'm just gonna switch nationalities, and he kind of got the second spot over Osama bin Bout. And also, there's this whole trauma about Melvin Mastil. I'm not gonna get into it, honestly. Whatever happens with him, happens with him. He chose Algeria. We're just gonna try and support these players going forward. Of course, I said I have issues with them, but it's something we just gotta move on with, you know? So, predicted lineup against Argentina, in my opinion. I told you Petko, he's probably either gonna go with a 3-5-2 or a 5-2-3. In any case, we already know goalkeeper is going to be Luka Zidane, who still is technically wearing that mask. If you've seen it in training today with the open training, I believe it was in Nelson Mandela, I believe, in Baraki. Yeah, that could be viewable as he was wearing the mask in goal. But we know Luka Zidane in goal, realistically speaking. Defenders out wide. Alright, getting this out of the way, we know Ryan Nouri is going to start. The guy is clinical in terms of dribbling, pushing the ball up, getting fouls, especially with the likes of DePaul, Molina. All of those players are going to try just roughhousing the Algerian players. So if we get someone like Ryan Nouri, he could get us that foul in the final third that we could achieve a goal from, realistically speaking. The center backs. I personally want to see Ashraf Abada play. I know realistically he won't play because he doesn't have much experience in like a world-renowned setting. But Abada would be a great matchup. He's very flexible on the ball. He's very like defender IQ worthy kind of player. He could be used as a weapon against Julian Alvarez. Of course, we know the usual suspects, which will be not Rania Nouri, we already mentioned him. Defenders will be Issa Mendy and Ben Sebaini. Those two have been rock solid for Algeria over the past, let's say, decade for Mendy. And Ben Sebaini ever since like 2018, 2017. He's been there for Algeria, so we already know those are going to be starting defenders. And then we go to the right. Now the right, it's between Jawan, Hajam, or Ben Ghali. I'm really trying to stick towards Hajam because defensively he's been on top. If you've seen him play for the national Algerian team, he can play on the right, he can play on the left, and regardless, he will still put in that defensive footwork and get the ball forward. So he's like Rania Nouri plus defending, which, on a separate note, Rania Nouri, please step up your defending game. It's something we really need in this World Cup. Alright, midfielders. Now, if Petkovic goes with 3-5-2, we're going to see Jawan and Rania Nouri push up. And in the midfield, he'd probably go with maybe Maza Hisham Boudawi, so he has that midfield depth in terms of defense and attacking. But if he wants to go with experience, maybe he could go with Nabi bin Talib and Hussam Awad, but that's worst case scenario in my opinion. And forwards, we already know Moura's going to start. We know Mahrez is definitely going to start. Captain Riyadh. Some may call him dictator, but that's a whole other subject. And on the left, for me, it's very weak. The left side, in terms of attack, is very, very poor. We only realistically got to put Amin Gouiri there As I'm looking at the squad right now, the only left wing we truly have, like a true left winger, would be Bulbina. And Bulbina, he's obviously going to come in as a super sub, as we saw versus Congo. And yeah, I feel like the starting 11 against Argentina would be Lucas Zidane in goal. We would have Joam Hajam, Isa Mendy, Ben Sebaini. I want Ashraf Abada, but he might start either Blade or Guy there. And we got Ryan Nouri out wide. Midfielders. If we're playing a 5-2-3, we're going to see maybe a mix of Maza and Boudawi, maybe a mix of Ben Talib Awar. And for forwards, we got Mohamed Amin Amoura, Riyad Mahrez on the right, and Khouirid on the left. And yeah, that's pretty much my view for the list and predicting the lineup for the game against Argentina. Now, I know there's a game for Algeria versus Netherlands in June, right before the World Cup. And the day before the World Cup starts, I believe they also got another game against Bolivia. So, predictive lineups will come out before then, in my opinion. And, yeah, when the time comes, we'll see what kind of lineups they got. And that's it from me, MC Madrid. Take care, y'all.